Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Small Talk Big Ideas, the show where we get into the minds of the greatest, coolest, hippiest, trendiest businesses and entrepreneurs in Malaysia. My name is
Right.
Raj. I'm from Blankslate, a digital marketing and creative consulting agency. As usual, we have our cast on the show, Mr. Ho Ming Yu,
What's good?
director of Blankslate. What up, man?
What's good? What's
And
good?
today we have a very special guest on the show, the one and only Shermaine Wong, founder and managing director of Tish Events and Cult Creative. What's up, Shermaine?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
man.
How have you
Wow.
been? I mean, like these past 100 days or so have not been kind to anybody. I would like to think that in some manner we are blessed. We are, in a position of certain privilege. But realistically, I think it affects us all very differently. How has it been for you, as a individual?
Funnily, guys, I actually just gave birth to my second child 3 months ago. So as soon as he popped out, it was really MCO. And yeah, so it's been a crazy ass time.
Sorry,
I'm sorry, I
second
say
child.
ass. Yeah, second child.
Oh my goodness! Congrats!
Wow.
Congratulations!
Thank
Wow,
you, thank
3 months ago. So literally just before, like you said, literally just before MCO.
Just before MCO. And then when I had 1 week to recover and I
Mm.
came back and I really had to put my business hat on. I'm in events, right?
Yes.
So we were naturally affected by the whole pandemic. Jobs were cancelled since February. So the first thing that we did when we came home is I told my finance manager, okay, tomorrow we got to call the suppliers, make sure we beg them for the longest credit terms. And then I had to call the clients, make sure that they pay on time, they according invoice dates. And sometimes if you don't chase up, then they don't pay on time. So
That's right. Oh,
yeah,
one of my favorite topics, actually.
right. Chasing for payments.
Yeah.
So glamorous.
Oh
But
my
yeah, so that was
goodness.
the immediate strategy we had to do. And then next thing you know, my team was still fumbling around, like, what to do, boss in maternity leave. What should we do, man? So I really had to just take a step back, be a boss, be a business leader, and just think about my team, ensuring that they'll be okay. I've already need to plan with my finance, make sure that we are able to sustain ourselves for the next 3 to 6 months, which luckily we could because of all this pending payment from clients. So in a way, it was lucky lah.
Oh my goodness, that's
Um,
like the definition of like legit superwoman mom. Like, pop one out. Yep, I'm back. I gotta manage a crisis on a global level. Don't worry about it. Let me feed my baby while I make sure I feed like all my people. That's crazy.
yeah, but I'm very, very lucky. Like funnily, like you said, MCO happened and my husband was stuck at home. My mom came over. I had the help that we need.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it worked out well lah.
All right. Okay. Before we jump into, I guess, the darker parts of handling life and business in the epidemic, right? Especially for a business in an industry of events. I think that's such a. I think this is definitely a session that people want to tune in into because the previous sessions that we've had, for FMBs and stuff, right? But events is probably the one that really like everything had to stop immediately.
Yep.
So before we jump into that, let's get to know Shermaine a little bit more. So we've got a couple of questions for you. I think this one's going to be quite fun, just like some brain teasers. Raj, you want to take the first one?
Yeah, sure. Okay, Shermaine, it's not exactly brain teasers. We just want to sort of like get to know what you've been up to. The first question, funnily enough, is what was the one most interesting thing that you learned during the MCO? But then, we just found out that you just had your second child.
I
So
feel like that's the highlight of itself already. Like.
yeah, like what could trump that, right?
But like aside from
Uh,
being a mom, I mean you're a full-time mom anyway. So what has been a joy or discovery or skill that you maybe have had time? I probably don't really have time. But what is something that if you had to answer, what would it be this past few
guys,
months?
I started learning how to build an app without coding. I actually wanted to share with you guys about that. I started to learn how to build an app without coding knowledge.
Wow, so it's
So that's my
basically
one
like
thing.
a what you see is what you get kind of editor to build
Yeah,
an app.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I was just like, shit lah, we cannot survive with events, I need to learn how to like go into technology. So I started to join this whole course on how to build an app without coding knowledge. And you can apparently you can use like spreadsheets and it somehow like transfers into this app building thing. So that's what I've
So
been
Wow.
learning. So
what
that's
what
something
have you built?
interesting I've been doing. I'll tell you later. It's about Cloud
Okay.
Creative.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yes, we're
really
gonna jump into that in a bit. What was your childhood ambition? And do you think that in some way or form you have achieved that ambition?
Oh, dude, no, very far from it, man. I mean, when we were kids, it was always that generic answers that I want to be a
Doctor, lawyer,
teacher lah.
engineer, right? Yeah.
Chinese Asian mom parenting. And I graduated in PR, so I've been in PR. I started my career in PR, and then I left PR. I joined Harper's Bazaar. I was a
Mm.
sales manager in Harper's Bazaar for 3.5 years. And then I decided, you know what, I don't work for people anymore lah. So I started Tish, but the first Tish was actually we sold organic candles. Like it was just a simple idea, like I don't do anything complicated. I'm so sick of selling. I'm so sick of the PR media world. I just want to sell candles, organic Malaysian candles. One thing led to another. People started ordering for door gifts, and then they were like, "Hey, your Instagram page very nice. You style, is it?" Yeah, I style. Okay. Come on, style for my dinner party. Dinner party led to weddings. Weddings led to events, and then next thing you know, Tish Events started lah.
Yeah. Oh man.
And I've been really lucky, because all my clients from Harper's Bazaar came over to Tish.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think my strength has always been recognizing women's lifestyle brands, what they like, that whole consumer journey, making sure that it's emotional, experiential, that lah.
Yeah, I think maybe like we'll just jump straight into Tish Events. I mean, you
Oh.
already very briefly highlighted what you guys do, but if you're gonna have just a bit more, tell us what Tish Events. What do you guys do? Do you guys do like zoo events as well? Like what do you guys do?
I think in a nutshell, we create experiences. It started in 2016. We call ourselves an event design, production, and management agency. And we specialize in fashion, beauty, lifestyle, luxury brands, especially women's brands.
Yeah.
I think if you see our work, we've done things for, lately, we've been very lucky. We started doing things for Disney, Google, Nestle, P&G. Previously, it was a lot of Longchamp, Zalora, Suhasu, Sephora, So we've been
Wow.
very lucky to have worked with a lot of international clients.
It's amazing.
So yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
our strength has always been making sure that we do immersive, emotional, and like very brand storytelling sort of setups. So understanding the client's brief, and then translating it into visual design through floral design, down to the invites lah, down to the gift box that you receive, down to the even like the food. So making sure that we work with the right caterer, the right
Yeah.
entertainment, the MC also have to be correct. So we really study the client's brief lah, and then it goes from there and then translate into an event design.
Right. So you've been doing this for a few years now. I'm sure you have
Yeah.
some crazy stories
Yeah.
being in the event industry. What are some
Yeah.
of the more memorable highlights from your journey so far?
I think Disney, man. Disney has, I mean, everybody grew up with Disney, right? So when we landed the Disney account and it was a retainer account, we worked with
Wow.
them for an entire year, guys. So
Wow.
so we were in charge of the movie side, Disney, Walt Disney Studio. So we were building premieres for Dumbo, Maleficent. We're actually Mulan was what we were working on, but it's back
Yeah.
on. Yeah, it's
I'm so
coming
excited.
back.
I got the email.
Right. So I mean, like, if you attended some of the Disney premieres, we did it. So that Disney has always been very tricky with us because they can't show any movies, right? So we really, my team, I mean, bless them, they watched the trailer like a whole week, play the music from like back then, just keep playing, keep
Absorb,
visualize,
right?
absorb,
Yeah, I love it.
just like inspire,
Yeah.
get inspire themselves, and then they built it from scratch. So
That's
Disney
nuts.
has been really fun for
Yeah.
us.
And how many people are in the Tish Events team?
We've got 12.
Wow.
Yeah. I think
And
it's
you
quite
guys
small.
Yeah, it's small for an event agency, but you guys do like
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have amazing partners that you guys work with, but
Yeah, man.
all of those 12 people and you guys are like how has the team always been this big, or has it been bigger and you guys scaled down, or like how did that work?
No. Funnily, like I think a year and a half before, we only had 3 people. Like we were just hustling,
Yeah.
and then we grew bigger, and eventually I split the like team to creative team and then the operation team. So operation team, they purely do servicing clients, making sure that they get the brief right, and then passing on to the creative team. The creative team is quite extensive. We've got a head of creative, Daniel. We've got 3D designers. We've got graphic designers and event designers. So the designers are the core of the business, lah,
Yeah.
essentially.
Ooh,
But of
okay.
course, we need the business side of things to make sure that they
There's a business
go
to come
follow
in
the
and
brief.
design for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Follow the brief. Don't get too crazy. Don't burst budget. The usual stuff, lah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
Shermaine, like I think we all know that the events industry was one of the industries that took the biggest hit during MCO
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we are not allowed to be out and about. Um, where do you see the event industry going in the next year or so? Do you think we will transition back to normal immediately, or is there going to be a new form that events will manifest themselves in?
Got it. I think you guys know like events is high touch point, right? High touch point, we're the last to recover. Uh, for now, for the past 3 months, I've been figuring out like what is the next step, right? And I know people are moving digital. People are trying to hold digital events, and that's actually something we're working with as well with
Mm.
C27.
Hey,
We're working with them. Yeah, we're working with them to sort of build a digital event platform, but it cannot be the typical ones that you see on Zoom and all. It has to be a mix of physical and virtual. So it has to have that first person view. We still have to have that setup, and then we shoot it, and then it can still be broadcasted. So having the best of both worlds. For my sort of prediction with events, right? It is coming back, like we are working on some events in July, August already, but it's of course very weird. Social distancing, we have all sorts of tapes on the floor, SOPs, but clients are dying to do events because there's
Mm.
nothing else that connects with people, that emotional likeness, like for us, we like to do gift boxes, like a Nestle gift box that we did. It comes with so Nestle, we had La Cremera we did last year. It came in a cooler box. We made sure that as soon as you arrive, you have it, you can actually bring it to a picnic already. So that whole experience, okay, it comes in a cooler box, it's branded with La Cremera, and then inside it's got like a glass bowl, it's got berries inside, some copper spoon, and then the ice cream. So it comes with, you can't get that with, I don't know, a Zoom link.
Yeah,
So
I
people
absolutely
still
agree.
want, yeah, especially with content creators, you need to get that storytelling element, and you will not be
Mm.
able to get that through a QR code lah. So people will, I think the events will come back, but it will be very strict SOPs. From our end, we're also planning things like, no more workshops, of course, no more ball pits, none of that nonsense. No more touching stuff on screens, ever. Everything has to be SOP lah. So we're probably doing things like art installations.
Mm.
So you still have a physical event, but you have installation, so people are spread out. I'm thinking things like, even have a QR code on the art installation. You scan, and then it drives you back to the client's like website, and then they can, do some sort of gimmick there, or it can be an AR experience. But you
Yeah.
still somehow need to have that physical thing where people come, to say hi to each other, not to touch, but hey man, how are you? That whole thing, that warmness, you cannot lose that lah.
Yeah, I think I really like what you said earlier on about like the essence or the heart about like Tish Events is that you guys craft experiences. And even you can very clearly see it for everyone who's watching and listening into this is that you can see that Shermaine's like whenever she describes an event and what you want to take out from an event, it's really the experiences that bridge together the brand and I guess whatever they are promoting or selling, right, with the end user. And I think what's interesting is that with the pandemic upon us and having that void of not being able to create experiences for people, one of the things that you guys are doing right now is really with I guess with all great entrepreneurs is looking at how you can still do the same thing in a different manner. right? And I think there has been news about like, oh, a cure has been found, but now they're going to move on to live testing and stuff like that. I mean, it could still be anywhere from like a year to 2 years out from everyone getting it, right? But I guess for Tish Events, with a team of 12 and I guess big accounts that you guys are working with, has there been a fear of I guess maybe you guys in having crafted all these amazing experiences for your clients and also the end consumers, to now transitioning to experimenting with something new? Has there been any talks with I guess maybe expectation wise of like, okay, you know what guys, because this is uncharted territory, how can we manage expectations while also trying to figure out and give you the best that we can deliver? Have you guys had to have that talk with some of your clients, or do they just give you the full liberty, like, hey, do what you wanna?
I think they're also in a space where they're also confused, right? They're just also managing the new norms as well. So right now, I think our clients have been very understanding. They have also trusted us to come up with new concepts for them.
Mm.
So things like gift boxes, it has to be sanitized. We tell them a lot of the SOPs. So they have also trusted us to trust their brand, because we are almost their brand custodians as well, because we bring their products, the consumer journey to the consumer. So I think clients have been very open to hearing what our advice have been, especially with SOPs. For Nestle, we tell them like, hey, we need to invest in food grade sanitizers, just to make sure that the end user get that like peace of mind when I receive, okay, it's got a sticker there, it's been sanitized, Nestle thought of this on my behalf. So the clients have been very open-minded. And also, I think they are also managing this new norm of how to reach out to the consumers.
Yeah.
So, Shermaine, let me just recap this real quick. So the MCO hit, you had your second child, you had to completely pivot your business to fit to the new norms, and then you decided to start a new business at the same time, right?
Yep.
Like, tell us a bit about Cult Creative. What pushed you to start this business in a time when you have so much of responsibilities on your plate?
Cult Creative really started during MCO. I mean, we were all, Tish Events was at a halt. We couldn't do anything. My team was also a bit like lost lah. We work with so many creatives, when it comes to our events. We always ensure that we work with locals, make sure that if it's an R&B theme event, then we make sure that the MC, the performance, even the food. So we've always curated this list of creatives that we work with, and we know that if the events industry is affected, it is a domino effect. We are a whole ecosystem here, right? The creative industry. So and many of them are freelancers as well. So we wanted to almost like bring them up while bringing ourselves up, create this network effect of raising each other up so we have Cult Creative, and it was initially the Tish Instagram account where we already had 7,000 followers. We just never touched it for a long time. So I thought, you know what, I've been wanting to go back and engage this community that we've built over these years, right? So we had Cult Creative, and Cult Creative is aimed to sort of uplift, unite, support the creative community. And the whole point is to bring together a community of creatives to redefine success. So that's why we have things like In Session. We interview creative leaders on how they pivot. We make sure that we touch on every different creative industry. You've got people from photography. I've got a Fendi who's from legal. He's doing media procurement legal now. And then I've got Yuna. I mean, different creative leaders. And then we also wanted to have this thing where we call Creative Crush, where we highlight up and coming creatives, just to make people feel like, hey, we see you, we appreciate you, and hopefully once we have this network, we can, once we get jobs back going, we can work together again in the future. So that's how Cult Creative was started.
How has the response been so far, both from the creatives end and also from the community?
I mean, I think everybody has been I think during MCO, everybody's pretty bored at home. So I think at that time we were enlightening people, hopefully entertaining people. And I just really want people to see that everybody is also in this shitstorm together, and we're all trying to figure it out together. And you know, one thing led to another. People have been very supportive. You know, I know we've gotten like creatives like DMing us saying that, hey, you know, can we be featured, you know, and it started off being like just, hey, you know, we see this guy, let's feature him. So people do want to be a part of this community, and it's a very nice feeling, like, especially when people are losing jobs now, especially our industry, right?
Yeah.
And so the team and I have actually discussed that, you know, let's do something cool. Okay, let's actually work with our good friends at C27 and Commerce PR, and we are planning to do a Cult Creative Festival that's happening in end August. And I want to side note, I want to talk to you about it, Ming. I want to have you on board
Oh my God.
for one of the podcast sessions. So it's a 3D festival that we're doing in August. The whole point is to, you know, celebrate creativity. It's about shifting mindsets, you know, talking about how the new world, we need to have more creative leaders. People need to be, we need to be original. We need to have emotional intelligence. It can't just be the old school style of like being technical, like logical. We have to embrace the creative industry. We are totally undervalued. People always see us as the non-essential business, but this has to change, you know, like people need to be more agile and resilient now. And creatives, we are the most agile people.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
We like hustle through the free, yeah.
I love how, like, I mean, the minute you talked about, I mean, when we read about and saw Cult Creative as well, I mean, it didn't take long for us to be like, oh, this is genius. You know, an events agency or events team puts together some collective of creatives, right? And there's so much response, there's so much buzz. Automatically, when things get back to normal, you can marry these two, and then there's going to be a festival of sorts, which is exactly what you just mentioned, right? And I love how that there is a organic progression to that there is a need. I agree with you completely that I think sometimes people, when they think of creatives, it's just like, oh yeah, I know, you just make fun things and I only consume when I'm bored. But then they don't realize that even in your own businesses, right, there is a creative team that keeps things like sharp, you know. And I feel like, you know, with this whole MCO pandemic situation, it's been very, very obvious that business trying to get, I guess, on board more into the digital realm is not possible without a creative team. And I think that's something that people really need to realize. So I love that you're drawing attention and bringing a spotlight and platform to the people who are, I guess, in the industry and who have experience, whether it's like content creators or entrepreneurs, but really the heart of it. And I love, maybe that's why we resonate really, really strongly with what you do as well, with the Cult Creative movement as well, is that there is a appreciation for creative leaders, like you said. I love that. We want to tie this to what, I guess, generally with what you're doing in terms of with Tish Events and even with Cult Creative, right? You are putting so much effort into building and supporting the local creative community. Like, it's unparalleled. Like, you could just literally not do anything and just be like, I'm just gonna pocket the money with my great project with Disney, and then y'all can do your own festivals and stuff. But being you're wearing so many hats. You're a mom of 2 kids and maybe a future one as well. But you know, there's so much commitment and dedication to the things you're passionate about, the local creative community, right? What do you feel? Because like you mentioned earlier on, there is an underappreciation for the creative industry, right? Is what Tish Events and what Cult Creative is the heart behind both of this, really, to see I guess, a new generation of a workforce or industry where there is a legit sort of appreciation towards the creative.
Yes, totally. I also, on that note, I really want to credit my team, man. My team has really followed through with my crazy ideas during MCO. Like, hey guys, you know what? Tish Events not working for a while. You know, we're on hiatus. Let's do Cult Creative. Let's just put all our heart and work on Cult Creative. Let's support the creative community. And they followed through. I mean, none of them are web designers. None of them are social media community managers. My 3D designer became a community manager. My head of creative started designing, started doing video editing. I started interviewing people. I mean, everybody has really stepped up, and that really shows the creative creatives, we are just agile, and if we're always curious learners, and that is something that I think a lot of people out there need to know, that we shouldn't be underappreciated lah. And on that note, what was your question again?
I guess just like, you know, the local creative community, where we are now, what is,
Yes.
there's so much to be desired, right? What is
Yes.
maybe your big hope or your dream for the industry with what you're doing with Tish and Cult Creative?
Okay, this is the part where I slide in about my app idea. So, I mean, it's still in beta. I mean, not even beta. I'm actually like, maybe I'm 80% done with it. And when I'm done, I'm actually supposed to choose 10 people to try this out. And I'm probably going to choose you because, yeah, I need to choose 10 different people from different creative industries. So what we're building on Cult Creative app is, it's actually a professional networking app for the creative world. So you see, I asked my team, I asked everybody I know, right? Hey, are you guys on LinkedIn? And they're like, no, I don't really vibe with LinkedIn. You know, it's too corporate. You know, like it doesn't really, the aesthetics is not nice. Like creatives are all about that. I can't put up my work. I can't put up my portfolio. And I just think it's too corporate. Like the people in there is too corporate. So we're actually building an app. It's very simple. You literally go on, you put up your profile, and I ask you 3 questions to set intentions, right? The first question is, what is your skills and knowledge? Second is, what do you want to learn? And third is, very important, who do you want to meet? So in that app itself, you already said, like, I want to meet a mentor, I want to meet a co-founder, I want to hire an illustrator, I want to get an intern, hopefully, maybe I want to meet an investor. So you set these intentions in there for this app. But this app is also part of this global creative community that we're trying to build here through Cult Creative. So with the festival, we're hopefully going to launch a new website, and in there we will have content, resources, and I still want to interview all the creative leaders, hopefully get them to do like workshops. If they want, we can do a one-on-one mentoring session, and then have the app as the way, maybe, you know, if you have the app, because I realized that creatives only use Instagram as their portfolio. Do you realize that? They use, and I mean, everybody is sliding into your DM, man. Like, I'm sure Yuna gets all sorts of funny things. And like, if you, for example, want to reach out to Yuna, and she's also started this thing called Tiny Class. She's all about, you know, that mentoring protege thing as well. And if you want to reach out to her one-on-one, there's no way to do that because she's flooded by all these messages everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to create an app where you can actually reach out to Yuna, and, you know, it's up to her. But you know that it's going to be a professional question. You can ask her about, hey, Yuna, what's your thoughts on my new project? Will you be...
not like, hey, what soap are you using so I can smell like you? Like, none of that, man.
Yeah, so that's why, I mean, and the more research I did about it, you know, Chandana had this 5-year program. It was supposed to be 2017 to 2022, where we were supposed to have 125,000 creative jobs, and that amounts to 3% of GDP in KL alone. So that's the amount of jobs that is going to be available. But unfortunately, there's also unemployment, and then an impending recession. And I think this is the time where we really need to invest in education and hopefully invest in networking with each other, and because jobs are hard to find already. And I'm very sure that the new format is just freelancing, and that's the new way.
Oh my goodness, yeah, you're right.
So with Cult Creative Festival, I'm working with C27 in Commerce. I mean, they come with their own like league of like people and their brains. So C27 is building the platform. We are coming up with the whole event planning, and then Commerce is coming out with the communication strategy lah.
Man, crazy.
So Shermaine, exciting things coming up. And for those of you watching this video right now, if they want to find out more about Tish Events, Cult Creative, this exciting festival that's coming up, and this amazing app that you guys are building right now, where should they go?
We are still in beta. Hopefully by first week of July, we just follow our Instagram account, Cult Creative KL, and then follow Tish Events. And we will announce there, especially the festival. It will be announced soon. And I'm actually in talks with the sponsors and also hopefully speakers soon. So yeah.
Oh man, that's
Awesome.
exciting.
That's so, so exciting. Before we end our session for today, Shermaine, what is one piece of advice that you would give to creatives who are trying to navigate through this very challenging yet exciting industry?
I think the word is stay hopeful. Um, Always, make sure that you keep your eyes on the ground. Keep your ears on the ground. Make sure that there are opportunities to collaborate. Uh, find ways to always be curious. I mean, this is the time to learn new things. Go into different industry. Creatives are not one dimensional. Creatives are multidisciplinary. You can have someone who is a fashion designer, but she can also illustrate. Try always improve yourself, always find ways to network with the right people, be around the right community that lifts you up, inspires you to be better. And yeah, just always be curious, and stay agile. Don't box up yourself, and just keep a lookout lah for opportunities. Yeah.
Awesome. Guys, there you have it. You heard it from the superwoman, Shermaine Wong herself, Tish Events, and Cult Creative KL. Thank you so much for being on the show with us today,
Thank you
Shermaine.
so much, guys.
Thank you. We
Thank
wish you all the
you.
best, and we are definitely keen to check out what's coming in store for you guys. We're excited for you guys.
Thank you so much. I need to talk to you on the side about the
Yes,
festival.
we will.
All right, so
But
thank you for watching.
guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you for watching
guys.
Small Talk Big Ideas. We will see you next week.